I am Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about exciting things that we hope will be of some interest to you, that will motivate you and inspire you. And folks, I promise we've got just the show to do that today. Of course, we always have an opportunity to share things that are making an impact in our community, and then sometimes those things have a global impact, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. My guest is the author of a couple of books. They're called Yes, Thank You, Universe, and also Superpositivity, The Greatest Power in the Universe. His name is Vickrant Mahajan, and I have the privilege of introducing Huntsville and the world to him at this time. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Thank you.
It's good to have you here today, and it's good to be able to talk about these products that have come from your experience, that have come from your mind, that have come from your passion and your desire to make a difference in the world. But I always like to start at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about your backstory, because I think it's essential in understanding where we've come today.
Right. So I was born in Jammu, Kashmir, India. And the place it is one of the most geopolitically sensitive areas on the planet. There's a constant insurgency going on, and between India and Pakistan, and we're right in the middle of that. So growing up in that milieu, I just felt that there was a lot of negativity in the immediate ecosystem around me, and I felt a need, an intrinsic need, a very strong need to address that negativity. So I moved on to a lot of other things. I moved to become an actor, a filmmaker, a photographer, and I started to travel the world. And that's when I realized that how wonderful and how magically priceless the gift of human life is, and how we fritter that away. So that's how I think it all started to come. My travels, my intrinsic experience, and my spiritual experience, it enabled me to walk upon a path whereby I would be able to harness more of that positive energy and try to bring that in the world around me.
And so much of what we experience in life as it relates to success is born from failure. You've
Absolutely.
had your share of failure. And
Yes.
you share that not as a badge that you wear, but as part of that journey that you've been on.
Absolutely. I believe that we all must start to see life in its totality. And just like a day has night, or up has a down, life has its moments that will sort of seem to be down. Its troughs. In order to scale the highs, we have to go to the trough. So I made a movie, a Bollywood movie, 5 years ago. And I also produced, it was an independent film. I produced the film, directed it, and acted in it as well. And the film entailed an investment of a little over $1 million. And the day it released on the box office, it had taken 3 years to make, but the day it released, it was a colossal wipeout at the box office. And that's the day, all my savings were wiped out. I was looking at a huge financial mountain, was neck deep in debt. And in the aftermath of that film, within a month, my marriage ended as well. So I went through a very deep personal crisis. That's when I realized that, it's not just that my life is in the pits, but people, the way they were responding to that situation was not very positive, except my immediate family. So a lot of criticism, rejection, and humiliation was also hurled at me, which the only good thing that I did at that time, for which I think, which paved the road for me, was that I stayed positive throughout that. I accepted it, embraced it, and I said, now let me process this failure and transcend it into something positive at that time.
What was it that gave you that ability to do that? Something that would have broken and does break so many people, that they don't recover from such a devastating loss or devastating losses.
Right.
What was different about your experience that helped you move beyond it in such a powerful way?
In one word, Mr. Anderson, if I were to say, it is gratitude. I was always supremely grateful just to be alive. And that has been I think the cornerstone, the leitmotif of my life. Unconditional, inexhaustible gratitude. And even when I was going through that experience, there was a very conscious realization that I'm going through all this for a purpose. I just didn't know that purpose then, that I would reach out to people and tell them it's all right to fail. It's great to reach out to your dreams. And when you do that, sometimes you might just meet a failure or a disappointment or a setback. It's great to meet that head on and then to rise above it, to take it with you in a positive way. And that's what enabled me to do. So I think looking back, gratitude and a constant appreciation of my own life, which is what I talk to youth all over the world now, about being grateful for wherever you are, whatever you have, and then to be appreciative of it. So once you have these two very rudimentary life skills, gratitude and appreciation, then I think you've got the roadmap for you.
And of course, you've been moving all over this community, sharing your positive message out of all of that you have experienced. And of course, time will not permit us to go through every detail.
Right.
But through all of that you experienced, you emerged with a book called Yes, Thank You, Universe.
Yes.
How does that happen? And tell us what this book is all about.
Right. So in September 2013, to be precise, on 19 September 2013, I had undertaken a continuous 40-hour meditation. It was a mindful meditation in which I was walking in a space very mindfully, and I was in that space, and I had resolved that I'll emerge from that room only when I had some sort of an insight into not just my life condition, but into how to healthfully try to heal other people's suffering and misery. So, I started early in the morning on the 19th September, and early next morning, when I was about to give up because, it was excruciatingly painful to just keep walking and to keep being mindful of every step and every breath that I was taking. So early in the morning, the next day, I had a revelation of these 4 words that just resonated inside of me. Yes, thank you, universe. Just like a golden flash of light, these 4 words came inside of me, and then they vanished. So a while later, I just spontaneously started to say these words aloud. I said, yes, thank you, universe. And then I said them again. So almost like a chant, I spontaneously started to say these words out. And that filled me up with so much vigor, energy, and I would say fullness, that I could complete that meditation. Then I did this chant for months altogether. And then when I realized how super positive these 4 words, just these 4 very simple, very universal words are making me, I started out with this message to share it with the world, my family, friends, and then I went to my school, to my alma mater, and I shared it with students there, and I just started to travel all over the country. So I've been doing this for the past 4 years all across India. I've traveled to more than 550 schools, shared it with close to 4 million students. Just the super positive, universal, and all-encompassing message of, yes, thank you, universe. It's about, like I said, being unconditionally grateful for all that we have. It starts with a yes, an affirmativeness. Thank you, self-explanatory, gratefulness, and universe, the allness in which we are all enveloped. So that's what it's about.
And of course, recently I had a chance to hear you speak at one of those 500 plus schools that you've had a chance to go through.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, absolutely, because I've heard you speak 2 or 3 times now, and I always am inspired
Thank you.
by what you have to say. You introduced this concept to the students, and they seem pretty excited about that. In fact, they asked lots of questions. This is your new book, Superpositivity, the greatest power in the universe. How did this book come to be?
So after Yes, Thank You, Universe, I also embarked on another process in 2015. So I undertook a 40-day vow of silence. So I said I've spoken a lot, and I've also created some world records, which you're aware of. One of those world records was the longest speech in the world. So I spoke continuously on the trot for 48 hours and 31 minutes. So I'm known to give marathon speeches and conversations. If time permits, we can go into one of those. But then I realized that it's not just about talking or expressing it verbally. You've got to feel it. You've got to be silent as well, going to the other end of the spectrum. So during that 40-day complete renunciation from talking, I felt that super positivity in me grew even more intense and even more sublime in many ways. From that emerged the material for this book, Superpositivity. I actually wrote the first draft in 17 days flat. Wow. It's a 244-page book. The day after I stepped out of that silent 40-day self-imposed exile.
You had a lot that came out of you.
It just came. It just expressed itself. And what I've come to understand when I say super positivity, it simply is a celebration of life. It is not about success or achievement alone. It is much more about happiness. It is about receiving this gift of life that we have been given by the Creator, by the universe, by, let's just say, the higher power. And once we've received this gift, I think it's every person's responsibility to cherish it optimally and then to express it positively. So that not just us, but the world around us is positively impacted as well.
Right, that's right. We've got maybe 3.5 minutes left in the broadcast. I could talk to you for a very long time, and I know you could also talk to me for a very long time.
Thank you for the honor. Thank you.
But I wanted to ask you because this whole notion of expressing positivity and doing it in an immense way, super positivity brings energy, it brings empowerment, brings engagement, it brings a tremendous opportunity to take over one's life. I just wonder very quickly what the role of contentment has to do with this whole notion of super positivity.
I'm very happy you mentioned that because that's actually one of the planks on which super positivity is centered. Contentment, being grateful, being satisfied with what you have. But then an equally important second plank, which people miss on the road to contentment, is transformation. That beyond contentment lies transformation. That each one of us, if I were just content, let's say the studio in which we're filming right now, let's say there was a wrapper on the floor. Let's say I'm just content sitting here, and I would say let that wrapper be on the floor. Why do I need to reach out and put it in its place or put it in the bin? Now, contentment mostly leads us down that road. Okay, you know what? Let things be in their place. I say, let us go one step further and higher. Let things be in their place, but let things be joyfully and correctly in their place. Let us reach out, and then after we are contented with who we are, with where we are, start impacting the world around us positively, start transforming and transmuting that energy into positive pursuits. And that's why I've been going around the world, creating Guinness World Records, talking at schools and universities, addressing communities about the need not just to celebrate your own life, but to reach out to your neighbors, to reach out to your communities, cities, and create a positive impact.
And of course, we're just about out of time, but I wanted to mention that you are the holder of 104 Guinness World Records.
That's right, sir.
And adding up more every day or every month or every year, you got definitely plans to do more of that.
Yes.
Recently had a chance to participate in an amazing event, which
Thanks
was
to
the
you.
Happy Huntsville Handshake Relay.
There you go.
A very successful event indeed. And we thank you for leading the charge on that and planting that seed to be able to give us the impetus to move that process forward.
Quickly, I would like to say, Mr. Hanson, now this is where super positivity comes. One person can envision, but then it needs a recipient of that idea to build upon it, and that's where you got the momentum going on it. When I came first to you with the idea, it was your super positivity that enabled us to give the city that event. So I request everyone that, that's where yes, it could be thank you, universe. So when I say yes, so receive ideas, creativity, initiatives with an openness. Let the first instinct be affirmative. So that applies to all initiatives that the city is undertaking, that your communities are undertaking. Be open to them, and like I say, make your city, make your country proud. Once you're doing that, the world will definitely be proud.
How can people connect to you, and how can people get connected to these great publications?
So my organization is on Facebook. It has a website as well, www.superpositivitymovement.org. And the Facebook page goes by the name Superpositivity Movement. And yes, Thank You Universe is another page as well. And on Instagram, I am there by Vickrant Mahajan, my name. So that's my Instagram handle, and that's about it. But I say, anytime people are being grateful, they're connected to me. So it's not about having a followership per se, but what I actively seek is people being grateful wherever they are and however they are by themselves. So they were connected. We are connected.
Vickrant Mahajan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence and bringing all of this positive energy into the studio.
Yes, thank you, universe.
Forward. Thank you so much. The book again, Yes, Thank You, Universe. I'd definitely check it out if I was you. Superpositivity. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying that. I've been saying it for weeks now. Superpositivity, the greatest power in the universe. Great reads, folks, and something that I believe will be transformational if you give it a try. This is a great time to get connected to this type of thing too, because of course it's the beginning of the year, or New Year in front of us, and or New Year just behind us, any way you kind of look at it. And it's an opportunity for people to really get on board and make the change in their life that are possible to make. We hope that you've enjoyed the show that you just watched today, and we hope that you will also like our Facebook page, where you can see a video of the show that you just watched. We hope that you like that page and follow us often and share it at the same time. For Impact with Kenny Anderson, I hope that you have a great day.